Yeah, CJ's that guy in the band that you'll be on tour for like 8 weeks, solid, no break, just 8 weeks, and you maybe 7-8 shows in a row, day off, 5-6 shows in a row, day off. That day off that he gets, he's going to be checking the local entertainment newspaper to see if there's a local show that
I'm always that.
That's CJ's that guy in the band. He'll be like, "Hey, dude, so and so's in town tonight. You want to go see him?" I'm like, "No, man, I don't want any loud noises right now."
Right.
The David Ellefson Show. Featuring Grammy Award winner David Ellefson and respected metal journalist Joshua Toomey. Presented by EllefsonEmporium.com. Here's David and Joshua.
By the way, welcome to the show. So coming up here, you're kicking everything off in August. Bakken is the run, right? Isn't that what it is, right? You guys?
Yeah, we've got that. We've got Brutal Assault in the Czech Republic, Reload, which is also in Germany, and then Alcatraz, which is in Belgium. Starts with a B.
Sounds good to me.
Chesterton's Townsville place.
All right.
So it's funny. I remember a couple of years ago. Remember during COVID, we I had my solo group. We came out. We did some shows with you guys, and it was right at the very beginning. I mean, no bands were really playing. Was it 20? It was 2020, I think. Right? Wasn't there that little promoter down in the South? He did. There's a Texas and
we did
New Orleans, Texas, something like that, right?
Yeah, we only did like maybe 4 shows that year, a handful. It wasn't a whole lot, but
well, it was weird because it was kind of the first testing of COVID, right? Without, how do we distance, mask, all that kind of stuff, and I guess everybody kind of did a little bit, and they were outdoor shows. I guess that's kind of what made it able to do it.
There's a lot of elbow, like, "What's up, friend?"
Yeah, hey, bro. But you know what? I remember you guys had the best diamond guitar amp. Like that thing sounded so fucking good, man. I remember our stage left guitar player, I think, was playing through it. And I just always remember that from that gig. I go, that is a great sounding amp, man. It was like hail the drowning pool amp. So, those takeaways. So a lot has gone on since then. I mean, I guess just bring us up to speed with new album, everything that's cooking here.
Bring us up to speed on the dates, Ryan, with all the shows.
The dates?
Yeah. August is
if we go back, you're talking about COVID there. It was not too long after COVID that, was it 2023? Mm-hmm. That one evening I received a text message from Stevie, bass player. And now Stevie, if anybody out there, if you ever spent time with Stevie, then you know what I'm talking about. But Stevie is pure Texas. I mean, he's as Texas can be. He's not one for small talk. He's not one for, So about 20 minutes in the conversation's still going on. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, the conversation's still happening. So at this point, I'm thinking something's going on. So I was like, "Man, are you sure everything's all right?" He's like, "Man, everything's great." And about 5 minutes later, he hits me back and goes, "Actually, I was we were talking and we were wondering if you'd be into doing like some reunion dates." Mm-hmm. And I was hell yeah. I mean, I missed playing with the guys, missed writing with them, and so it was a no-brainer for me. And I jumped right on it. And about 2 days later, their manager at the time called me and was like, "We got a show in 2 weeks. We're gonna fly you in about 3 days before the show."
Right.
And it's not any reunion shows anymore. You're back in the band, so we're just doing it.
Nice.
So it was like, all right, let me throw the headphones on, see if I remember these songs that I haven't sang in 13 years. So It was but it was awesome, man. CJ actually picked me up from the airport there in Dallas, and we drove right to the rehearsal spot. And there we were, the 4 of us back together again for the first time in 13 years. And it was like we never missed a beat, man. The only difference in the rehearsal is that between songs, when people were checking their phones, they had to hold them a little bit farther from their faces so they could read them. That was about the only difference.
Bifocals, yeah. Get out the readers.
Right. The reading glasses came on and shit. That's about the only difference.
People wonder, as we all do, even as fans ourselves, we wonder, like, how did they get back together? How did this happen? And sometimes, when I went back to Megadeth in 2010, there was this chasm between me and Dave. We didn't talk. And then finally our drummer at the time, Sean Drover, got me and Dave on the phone. It was really like, hey, man, how are you? Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, great. I'll throw bass in the car. I'll see you tomorrow at rehearsal. We got in, we plugged in, played Symphony of Destruction. It's like, why have we not been doing this for the last 5 years?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Same thing, man. Same exact thing, dude.
Sounded great, played great, bro hugs. It was like, all right, that was wasted years. You know what I mean? And so it sounds like that was the same thing with you. It's like it fits back together. It's natural. So with a reunion though, there is a, look, we're like friends, we're like families, they're not all perfect. There is this thing where you sort of have to let go of some stuff of the past, because there's always some stuff from the past that's maybe not so favorable. Right. And at some point you kind of just have to go, I got to just move past that and don't bring it up again, and move back, or you do bring it up and it's finally the air is clear. I mean, how was that for you guys going through that process?
Man, I think for us, just at that time when we, for us, it was supposed to be like a break. I don't know if it was going to be 3 months or 3 years, or it was going to be 13 years. I didn't get the memo, but it wound up being longer than it probably should have, of course. But I think all of us at that time, I think we just needed a break. Everybody had a lot of personal stuff going on, each one of us individually. So it was just kind of a group effort of just everybody, having things they need to take care of. But yeah, here we are now, back together with Ryan 13 years later.
I think it also helped the fact that my memory's for shit. So I don't remember if there was any bad blood. I don't remember what it was about, if there was. So
we did have that conversation the first night Ryan stayed here at my house, and we sat. I got like the home studio, and I got a gazebo in the back. We're sitting out there and telling stories. Remember that time you did this thing? I'm like, no, I don't. And then he was like, the time you did that, like, I don't remember doing that. So it was a lot of like.
Yeah, this is perfect. This is amnesia really helping us make this reunion happen.
Yeah.
So I don't remember doing anything. It was all good.
Yeah, we just fell in love again, man. It was awesome.
Right.
Yeah, CJ, with reunion talk, I mean, obviously Ryan kind of coming back in the band, but the core of the band obviously being you, Stevie, Mikey, for years, obviously, I've known you guys since the 90s or whatnot all together. And like those, how have you three stayed together through all the ups and downs, obviously tragedy in the band and going through singers and things like that. What kept you three together all of these years?
I think it's definitely the passion in playing music together. I mean, we've been fortunate to be playing music together since we're friends in high school. And all of it's I think it's an equal playing field of just like, effery going on, with everybody's life, whether it's this time or that time. I think we've all kind of experienced the same, great times, tragedies all together. So we always just kind of pull back together as friends and get in that room and just start rocking out and playing music. And, that moment on stage, especially, with Ryan, man, it's all for that, with the passion of playing music. So I think that's what's been holding us together for sure.
I count my blessings that the guys have maintained like they have. I really think it's because they've been together for so many years, thankfully, that they've all been deranged by the same experiences. So they're the only ones that actually understand one another. So
must be wild for you on the outside looking at the relationship that we have, for sure, man.
And think about how special that is, because, I grew up with bands in Minnesota, and there was no way we were going to go to the big time. I had to relocate to LA, meet a whole new group of people, start a new band, new zip code, new everything. Right. And I guess back in that day, maybe that's how it was, but it's, for you guys to have formed something since high school and played together and then have that go the distance, because you go through that whole process, all of the showcasing, getting a manager, getting the agent, booking the shows, finally getting a label deal, that's really the turning key from what turns you to being a sort of a bar star to a real rock star, And I mean, how was that for you guys? And what were, I don't know, any challenges or highlights of that?
I mean,
journey?
yeah, it's been quite a roller coaster ride from the get go, man. You know, there's a lot of great bands out here on the scene in Dallas. A lot of bands that we played with are still rocking out. And for us to get, it felt like they picked the name out of the hat the year. You know, we man, it took off fast for us. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then then we had tragedy. You know, I'm using the late great Dave Williams. Coming over that adversity, if you will, and Mike and Stevie and myself coming together on that. Very proud of the second record that we made with Jason Gong Jones, but he's really with Ryan coming in where we felt like family again. We had 2 amazing records together with Ryan, and a lot of new songs we're working on right now. That's freaking awesome. That I can't wait to get out to everybody. So it's been quite that ride, man. Especially labels management. I mean, you guys know how that is. We have definitely had our fair share of the business from the business, but again. I love playing music, man. I love playing my guitar. I love playing with my brothers on stage, and that's what gets you through everything.
My experience is very similar to yours, Dave. Except for my LA was Chicago. I grew up in Indiana, and much like Minnesota, there's no way I was going to get recognized unless David Geffen's airplane crashed on Main Street, and he survived it. And so, so my getaway, like yours was LA, mine was Chicago. So I just happened to be in Chicago at the right time, doing shows with Disturbed and From Zero and 5.0 and Loudmouth and a lot of bands that were making that scene so healthy. And it's such a healthy scene that, Chicago was my LA at that point in my career. So very similar to your own.
How was that with you, Josh? You lived in Nashville, right? So when you got into like Primer 55 and you kind of got rolling into this, was it the same? Because Nashville was not a rock town. It still isn't. It's a hub for a lot of stuff, but it's certainly not a rock or a metal town at all, right? I mean,
yeah, it was Nashville was always one of those towns where I've told people over the years it was nice because all those great studios are there, all the great country studios, the Tim McGraw's house, I recorded at Faith Hill's house, stuff like that, where those engineers and the producers and stuff were sick and tired of doing country all day. So they would slide a metal band in at night, do it for free, just so that they could record something heavy, so you would get kind of the perks of the good studios, which, David, you recorded, a couple of records in Nashville. So, that the studios there are great. But I always joke that, Primer was based out of Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm like the only person ever to leave Nashville for music. Like I left Nashville to join a band out of Louisville, Kentucky. So yeah, it's I guess in a weird way, I guess Louisville was my LA. How about that, David?
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I never thought I would hear that statement.
I like Louisville. I think it's great, man. I remember we had a day out from the Clash of the Titans and we played softball. We had like a whole, like all 4 bands played softball in some
Clash of the Titans,
some empty parking lot next to the hotel. I'm like, this is total like kids in the parking, that kind of thing. So
good time.
No, I've always liked it there. CJ,
I saw that tour at Deer Creek in Indianapolis, outside of Indianapolis.
Sure, yeah.
No, that was amazing. Well. There was this opening band, this little opening band by the name of Alice in Chains on that one. Yeah.
We took out so many bands over the years: Alice in Chains, Pantera, Korn, Stone Temple Pilots, and then they went on to become much bigger than us. As far as then they became the next generation headliners, which is great. That's I think that's super proud of that actually, but.
Should be,
it's the next generation, right? They hopefully you farm up the next crew, and it keeps the game alive, So, CJ, I wanted to ask you, were you guys was it on Wind Up? Was that your first label?
Wind Up was the first label for us, yeah.
So that label, because I was working at PB at the time, right? Megadeth had disbanded for a period there, so I took an artist relations job, at PB, which was really great. I mean. To just do something on a different side of the business, but still in it, But I remember all Evanescence and Creed, and I mean all you guys. It was just unbelievable the upswing that you guys had, and you guys were definitely into that.
Yeah, we got on with them pretty early. Creed was happening for them, and like you said, Evanescence came after. There's a handful of bands that wound up put out there. A lot of great bands at that time period, and then how the business goes. And you getting bought and sold to the next label. So we're like 4 labels in now, and it's wild, man.
It's about right. It's about right. It's about right. I mean, look, I remember, with Megadeth, we signed, we had our first Capitol, or our Combat deal was 5 albums or something. And then, you know, then
Yeah.
Capitol bought that. That's why you saw the Combat logo up through Countdown to Extinction. They got an override. And then, you know, we actually survived a 7-album deal with Capitol Records, which is unbelievable because, you know, I think they assume the first one's throw it up against the wall. The second one is, okay, let's really try to make this into something if you survive it, right?
Yeah.
Meaning your band doesn't break up. And then by album 3, it's like, okay, now it's time to fucking get our money back. You know, you better be set. And then that day, you know, they were still gold and platinum, double platinum records, you know. But I think with any record deal, it's kind of the same thing. You know, it's like, okay, then it comes this crest where it's like, okay, we need our money back. And then hopefully by that point, you know, you become, you know, of a size where they just print money, you know, or you sail off into the sunset and become a classic rock legacy band. And
yeah, man, the business is quite the thing. It's changed a lot, as we all know throughout the years.
Well, those long-term deals are gone. I mean, you know, I think now things are 1 album at a time, or maybe 1 with an option, maybe 1 with 2 options or something, you know, meaning a couple more, because, you know, once TikTok started throwing, you know, $1 million at, you know, the you know, artists to, you know, let's do a single and let's see if it hits by Christmas, and then January we'll sign another one, you know, and
that's the singles world right there. But I'm still old school, man. I love listening to the whole record. You know, I try to carve out Sundays when I'm home with the family, and I have the record player set up in a PA in the front room, of course, and just listen to a whole freaking record, you know, front to back, man. You know, it's nice when I can still do that and just focus on that alone, just really absorb the band and the music.
CJ, you guys have got that, you know, the tour coming up with Spine Shank overseas, and you know, it's kind of like those bands. Obviously, you know, Primer's doing some shows soon. You know, there's so many of those bands from the early 2000s kind of coming back around again. And you guys, and Nonpoint and Seven Dust, and a few other bands have just been plowing through this whole time. And then now, like, there's a little bit of resurgence. Everybody's popping back up. You know, you've almost got to be like, where have you guys been for the last 15 years, man? So is it cool for you to kind of see some of us kind of popping our heads back up? To
definitely,
do
man. Stuff? It's awesome. I want to play with everybody. Let's make a whole nother. I mean, Ozfest 2001, 2002. I mean, that was, you know, the strong years for us. All the bands every single band on those bills were freaking amazing. And yeah, dude, let's do it. Let's play the shows, but we'll talk about that.
Absolutely,
you know,
man.
It's kind of like bands have to get to this, you know, if you can get to the 20-year mark. I mean, 10 years is amazing. I mean, if you think about the lifestyle of rock and rollers, and if you can get the 20, you sort of turn this corner to the legacy thing. And then somewhere between, I mean, I see, you know, Korn, Godsmack, Disturbed, you know, you're hitting the 25 to 30-year mark, and these guys are now, they are the festival headliners now, you know, and, you know, and you guys are kind of right in that trajectory right now, right? You're kind of hitting about your 25 to 30-year mark, right?
Next year, June 5th next year is the 25th anniversary of the Center record.
Yeah.
So,
unbelievable.
We all need it. So we're still putting plans together for that, but we need to get that out there sooner than later because, you know, that's coming up fast.
Yeah. We since getting back together in 23, we just beat the crap out of the States. And it was cool that the demand was what it was with us getting back together. So we want to take advantage of it. And we did. And we just, it was back to like the old days of just road dogging. We were on the road a lot the past 2 years, and 23 and 24. So this year, 2025, we decided, we made the decision that we were just going to concentrate on things overseas from the States and kind of give the States a chance to breathe and everything, and then just come back in 26, like CJ said, the 25th anniversary of Center, and nail the States again, and just go full throttle on 2026. So that brings us to, you know, this year we started the year out, you know, hitting Australia up, and then we've got we do have a handful of shows in the States, mainly just festivals and stuff, but we've got a tour coming up in August, which will be the first headline shows that Drowning Pool has done in Europe in 9 years. Mm-hmm. And scattered in there are the festivals that we spoke about at the beginning of this. And then we're back over this way again in England, where I live, and doing, as you said, the Spine Shank tour in November. So yeah, we've been concentrating on things overseas from the States this year, but with the plans of just nailing it hard for the anniversary next.
So, it's interesting, though, you say that, because over here in Europe, there is a huge, everybody talks about rock is dead in America. And what we're referring to when we say that is when was the last rock record broken, right? Like when did a rock band break, as far as charting, breaking, on radio, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, look,
True.
Ghost just hit #1, so there's certainly an exception, right? And
Right.
kind of breaks a lot of the rules in a way Metallica did. They don't have huge radio play. They don't have there's not like an MTV, you know what I mean? So they kind of built that up from the ground up. So there's one. But over here, they're from Europe, right? So, sometimes something from over there comes over here, from Europe to America. It's cool. But, I see a lot of our American friends over here. The new metal thing is huge over here. Slipknot, of course, they're big. But Korn, Limp Bizkit, bands that were in huge favor back in America in the 90s, and then kind of went through, kind of a quieter season. They're like they're doing fantastic over here, right? So
Korn just headlined Download this year for the first time and just killed it.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, and I just saw Linkin Park the other day, and of course they've always been huge, but I mean they did two nights in the stadium here. You know what I mean? That's like Metallica level. You know what I mean? So I mean Linkin Park is one of those bands. So and you guys are of an era, in that same era as well, and so I can see why you would spend time over here. The festivals embraced it. There was more of an interest in your genres of music seem to be a really cool interest for it over here, which I think is great. I mean, Megadeth, we did a big tour with Five Finger Death Punch, and Zoltan's from here, so I always say, kind of like Lars and Tobias, guys that are from here, they understand how to tour this world, differently than maybe Americans do. But I think it's great, man. I think it's really cool that you guys were able to get a foothold over here.
Yeah, it's nice to be back over. It's been a long 9 years. Again, just the whole management label in the past, that's done with. So, and just to come back, not knowing what the response is going to be, and just having these amazing shows. Again, we started the year out with Godsmack and doing Arena Rocks, man. It was freaking awesome. And now, looking forward to the summer and meeting all the fans again face to face. I'm one of the guys. I love hanging out and talking to everybody. I'm a rock fan as well. Love hanging out, watching other bands play.
Yeah, CJ is that guy in the band that you'll be on tour for like 8 weeks, solid, no break, just 8 weeks, and you maybe 7-8 shows in a row, day off, 5-6 shows in a row, day off. That day off that he gets, he's going to be checking the local entertainment newspaper to see if there's a local show that
I'm always that.
CJ's that guy in the band. He'll be like, "Hey, dude, so and so's in town tonight. You want to go see him?" I'm like, "No, man, I don't want any loud noises right now."
I get home from tour. It's like I'm home from tour after a couple of months. It's like, "Oh, Testament's playing tonight. I got to go see Testament." So you get.
I was in Dallas for the day off. We just got back to Dallas after being on the road for I don't know how many weeks. And Testament was playing the night after we got back, and I'm at the hotel, and he's messaging me. I haven't even gone to sleep yet from the tour, and he's Testament tonight.
Show.
I'm like, no.
That's like David, man. He's over in Europe right now, and every other text right now is like him and Slash hanging out at a Guns N' Roses show. He's sending me video from Linkin Park. He's doing the Black Sabbath thing. He's just always at a show.
I love it. I mean, my summer is set up nice, and like it seems like every couple of weeks or something. So I'm like, why fly back to America? The jet lag kicks your ass. It's expensive. Right. It's hot as balls in fucking Arizona right now. So I may as well stay over here where the weather's nice, and plus, look, all of my friends are over here. Everybody's here. Judas Priest and Accept, and Iron Maiden's coming here in a couple of weeks, and so to me, it's sort of like, hang out, enjoy the culture. My whole family heritage is European. I'm like 25% German, 25% Norwegian, half English, whatever, So I'm like, I don't know. There comes a point in life for me that I just enjoy the journey now, man. And I love to be able to have the luxury of being able to do it, and it's fun for us to do the podcast. Probably the hardest part is getting some damn good Wi-Fi, but I figure, you know what? Because when Josh asked me about doing it, I'm like, as long as we can kind of do it rogue and wherever I'm at, then so he's headquarters, and so it's just like this. We're sitting in four squares, 4 different parts of the world that we're sitting in, and I think it's great, man, that we can all stay connected and like you said, remain music friends, which is super cool.
Yeah, I'm about to come stay over there in Germany and hang out with you, man.
Yeah,
come on over.
Me too. Let's all go.
You guys,
go
go hit the shows together. I'll
skip into the shows.
Yeah. Well, Frankfurt it's kind of about the size of Phoenix, maybe even smaller, right? But it's a financial center, and it's the center of Europe, man. So the flights are great coming in and out of here. When I just was up in England, I'm going to be back up in London 10 days or so again for some stuff. This new Ellefson solo record that we just announced that's coming out. So we're doing that. Awesome. So, I love it. I hate being over in America going, God, I wish I was in Europe because all my friends are there. Just like, being here going, oh man, everything's going on in America. So it's nice to kind of, wherever we may roam, right? I mean, just kind of be able to be present where we're rockers, we're metalheads, right? So it's nice to be, where the action's happening.
So I've got a question for the three of you, because I know the name Johnny K, and I enjoy what he does, but I know all three of you guys have worked with Johnny K on different projects. So what's Johnny K's like producing style? Does he, obviously you hear about Ross Robinson throwing flower pots and doing all this other nonsense. Like what's Johnny K's kind of process with you guys?
I got 2 stories with Johnny that to me sums him up. But I did my first major label release with Johnny. And he met with us like 2 weeks before we went to the studio, and he's talking to me. He's like, with singers that I'm working with, if they smoke or whatever, I ask them to lay off the cigarettes a couple of weeks before we start recording vocals or whatever. And so I did everything he asked me to do. I quit smoking and everything a couple of weeks before we started tracking vocals. I go in and start tracking the vocals, and the voice is just tight and just crispy and crap. And he's going take after take after take after take. And finally, he doesn't have the talk back button on. I see him talking to the engineer, and finally he hits the talk back button, and he just goes, "Do you feel like having a cigarette?" I was like, "Yeah, like a carton, yeah." And he's like, "You know what, dude? Go out to the live room, have a cigarette or 5, whatever you need to do. Come back in, and then we'll take it again." As soon as I came in, it was just take. It was just every take was a keeper. And he was just like, "There it is. I can hear the tar dripping up your vocals. That's what we're missing. That's it right there." Right. And then the other time was he was. I guess my point was even for like he was great with the instruments. I know all the guys always raved about him, but he was also great for singers who sometimes get stuck in their own head and stuff. The story I was getting ready to tell is a good point of that. We were in New York City, and the label at the last second decided they wanted to recut vocal tracks to a song. So I'm in the middle of a sinus infection at this point in time, and the last thing I feel like doing at all is tracking vocals. So I go into the studio and I'm tracking, and it sucks, and I lose I am pure prima donna lead singer, LSD lead singer disease kicking 1,000%, and I lose my shit. I think I broke at least one set of headphones. I'm having a meltdown. And I finally come to my senses, and I look up. Everybody in the control room is like losing their oh shit, what we do? And Johnny's just sitting there leaning back in his chair with his feet up on the console, just like not even paying attention to me. And finally he kind of looks over at the window and he's like, "You good?" "Yeah." "All right, let's take it." He was just so easy to work with, and he knew the individuals and how they were and how to work with them. And I loved working with Johnny. I guess. And obviously, long story short, I loved working with him.
And obviously, he had your microphone muted so no one could hear you in the right. He knew okay, let's mute him while he has his tantrum.
I hope. I hope. The label didn't drop us, so I'm guessing they did.
Yeah, so he saved your deal. He's like, "Yep, let's hit mute anyway. What's going on?"
Right. I'm pretty sure there was having me in here singing sinus infection bullshit.
Yeah.
Piece that together, make a song.
How about you, CJ?
Oh man, Johnny was great, dude. You know, it's really fun. It was the first time, you know, I explored a lot of different guitars, string size, string gauges, several different amps and cabinets. And you know, what I love about Johnny is we play for the song, try to get a tone for the song, not just so much, you know, one amp and go for it. So we explored a lot of different cabinets, and we had a good almost week dialing in the guitar tone. So that was fun for me with him. It was all tacos and pizza, man. We recorded in Chicago in January, February, March, and it was like freaking the coldest. I'm from the South, you know, I'm from the swamps, and I'm used to it being hot, swampy, and sweaty. So that was just a shocker on that one, just shaking and playing. But no, it's a great experience, man. He's like Ryan was saying, he's got a great ear for everybody. He knows how to work with each individual, and for us, yeah, it was super smooth for me playing with him. It was super smooth once we got everything dialed in and set up. Yeah, it was a fun experience, man. It was a weird time for us in the band, but you know, a great record came out of there for sure, man. Desensitized is awesome.
Work at his complex there in Chicago. It's his big studio that he has with all the triple rectifiers and all of his stuff.
It was I know it was in 2003 maybe. It was I know he has a different studio now. It's the one he had before.
It was the Chicago when you guys were at. I was living in Chicago at the time, and it came to your guys' like listening party and everything.
Yeah. You know, I brought Johnny in to work on the 13 album. David had been working with Andy Sneap, and I got to do one track for Guitar Hero when I came back to Megadeth that Andy mixed. And we were very bummed because Andy and I become good friends, and we wanted to work on a record together, but he had a visa lapse, and we had 10 weeks to get a record done, and he couldn't get the visa, you know, expedited fast enough. So we went in the studio. I brought Johnny in. I suggested him. I loved his records, the Disturbed records and stuff like that he had done. I think he'd just come up with a Stained record. And, you know, David's already sent me the song, so I charted them and learned them at home and came in, took two basses in and just plugged in. And Johnny, you know, I took every track. I played 3 versions. You know, he said, "All right, dude, take them top to bottom." Obviously, you know the songs, so take them top to bottom. He goes, you know, do one chorus up, do another one chorus down, you know, give me some licks on the end, play one real straight, play one little fancier, and then do one where you're really going off. So I've got some licks to choose from. Nice. At that point, you know, the vocals, there was no melody lines. Johnny's like, look, I don't know what's coming down the pike here. But at least if you give me a bunch of notes, if I have to, I can grab your notes in Pro Tool and even make a bass line, which I think he did on the chorus of Public Enemy No. 1, which is the first single. I seem to remember I was going, yeah, I definitely didn't play that. But like he said, he goes, I don't. Melodically, I need to know what it is. But, you know, one of the things I appreciated about him, because I kept asking about Disturbed, you know, and he said, he goes, those guys were just a great band. They recorded well. I didn't have to do a lot of production work with them. They had really good ideas. They came in prepared. But one of the things I liked that he said, he goes, you know, I learned how to make records with my Tangent mixing console in my basement. I've had bands come over. We would put microphones in their cabinets and we'd record. He said, problem I have with a lot of guys at that time, and this was 15 years ago now, I guess, but was, you know, a lot of records are made by basically computer guys who just happen to record bands. You know, they're like computer nerds because everything was in the box. There were not a lot of consoles. I mean, everybody was working in the box, as we call it, meaning working on Pro Tools on a laptop, and that was the studio basically, right? So I really appreciated that he knew what happens when you put a microphone on a speaker or a drum and it moves air at the microphone, you know, and what the microphone's response and what its responsibility was in the recording process. So that comment about that really stood out for me, you know, and because that's how I grew up, you know, in the Midwest. I was the guy that owned the PA, you know, and we'd have to go in and record. And so I kind of knew how audio and signal chains worked and all that stuff, you know. So yeah, nice. Well, Josh,
guys, as we wrap up here, talk to me about Madness and Revolution, man. Talk about the new songs that have been out.
Yeah, it was the first two that we put out there. We've been working together trying to get a whole compilation of songs out. It's just been a really busy 2 years for us between touring and personal life. It's every time we get some free time off, we try to get in there and get some more work done. So, just the way it worked out, we got Revolution done first. And man, we were touring hardcore right after that. And we just recently put out Madness. And here we are. Ryan's going to be here next week. Try to get up in the studio again and knock out a handful more songs to get everything together and get out to everyone, man.
Is that what you're going to do, like singles for a while and then compile an album at the end? Is that what we're looking at?
I'd like to put sooner than later, get a full record out. Yeah. It just happened that we got those songs done first, and that's kind of why we're going down this single trend. But, the next one out, hopefully it leads off with the rest of the songs put together. But again, it's just a timing thing. It's been busy, man. It's been awesome. But we have some time off in September and October as well. So I'm hoping to get everything done and finished by the end of the year for sure. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
What about you, Ryan?
I like it.
You like it?
We alluded to it earlier. It was CJ and I that actually were on the phone the day that we parted ways, and the conversation was real simple, man. There was no anger. Because it wasn't. We didn't part in an angry way. It was just like, man, we were burnt. We were touring like crazy for years, and it was just like, I think CJ was just like, man, I kind of feel like you could use a little. You're wearing a little thin. You could use a little time, a little time off. And I was like, yeah, you're right, man. I could. And so we were just like, just take a little break. And all of a sudden that little break was 13 years. So it was that 13 years, there was a lot of evenings, a lot of days and evenings that I was like looking at the clock, and hoping that someday, man, things would roll around. I'd get to write music with this guy here on the screen with us, and again. So it's the fact that we're back in that mode again, and it's not ideal, but it's not ideal for a good reason. I mean, the reason that we're not, I say ideal, we're not able to just concentrate and just write and record like I want to, because I miss that so much. But it's not. But the reason for that is because the demand for the band's been awesome again. So I can't complain about that. But as CJ said here, like next week we've got a few days that he and I are just going to huddle down there in Texas and work on some stuff, and just that's the stuff I live for, man. I think the older I get, the more and more I loved the live show aspect of it, because I've always been one that I enjoyed watching a riff become a song. Through all those stages, that was always my favorite part. As I've gotten older and you start watching the clock on your own life expectancy within the industry, I found myself enjoying the live show more, enjoying that time that you get with the people that allow us to do what we do, that come to the shows and everything. But at the same time, man, next week I've been just to any chance I get to be writing with these guys again is awesome.
Yeah, and it's awesome right together again too, and it comes so natural, man. And it's like it's awesome being right mode, and we just had some ideas we're throwing back and forth, and it's great to be on the same page, man. Again, playing together, feeling that energy from stage, from touring, and then coming back here and putting it all together with some new ideas, man.
But as a singer, I've worked with a lot of people over the years. They've been like, they'll throw a lyrical idea at me, and they'll warm up, lead into the conversation with, I had you in mind when I came up with this. And it's like they do their best rendition of what they think I do. And I don't do much. I have a window about that big of vocal ability. But sometimes when I hear what they're wanting me to do, I'm just like, man, have you ever heard me before? But whereas CJ, on the other hand, he'll be like, I was leading into these songs. I was like very apprehensive with when he was like, man, I had you in mind when I wrote this. I was like, oh shit, I heard that before. And then all of a sudden, this last time I was in Texas is a perfect example. I was like, I didn't want to hear what he had in mind for me until I had a chance to write to it myself. And all of a sudden we're sharing each other's things. It's like you would have thought we were in the same room together when we wrote the lyrical ideas and the lyrical, even the friggin' curves. It was crazy. So it's just
we're definitely
it's writing, not like writing with it's like writing with your sibling that you don't want to beat up. It's cool.
Brothers.
Well, I love second chances. I love reunions. I love that. So congratulations to you guys that came full circle for you guys. It's really great. So thanks for joining us here for a little bit, and best of luck on everything I'm moving forward, man. It's great.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Toomey. Good to see you.
Always good to see you
very much.